Hey guys, welcome to episode number 369. Today is Friday, so it's Fan Friday, and we had some requests to go back to the pond. So we're here at Gary's pond. It's about to downpour out here. It was a beautiful day today, but the sun just disappeared. And this is a lot of koi. They have grown enormous over the past year, and as you can see, they are feeding. We've got Gibson here, we've got Polly sniffing around, and we've got my two co-workers. Gary, what's up? What's going on?
Greg?
What have you been doing here in the past 9 months since we've last seen the pond?
As you can see, I got some wild flowers over there. The pond going. Put some plant life around. I got some redheads over there. I got some cranberry crush flowers that come up in the fall.
Okay.
And I got about 27 koi in there now, in which I have a couple koi in there at about 20 inches.
Yeah.
That were donated to me, thankfully. I can't take all the credit for
how beautiful they are.
How beautiful they are. But
yeah.
I'll tell you right now, the pond that they're in right now is about 4 times the size of the pond that they were in.
Yeah.
So that just goes to prove that koi just keep growing if you keep feeding them.
That's right. So they're the butterfly koi, right? The ones with the big long fins are the ones you got?
So there's a butterfly koi.
I see one there, and there's one in the back there.
There's what's called, some people call them a leatherback koi.
Okay.
I think it's a doitsu or somewhere on that.
Yeah, they've just got the scales down the back.
Exactly.
Right?
It scales down the back, and they were bred in actually Germany for whatever reasons that might be. But yeah, they're beautiful in color, and there's a few in there. So
nice. So we don't have any Oscars in the pond this year, right?
No Oscars. I think the video was very effective.
Very effective.
And there hasn't been any fish thrown in here.
Yeah.
Lately.
So we've shamed your neighbors enough so that
there's some shame there.
Okay.
And
good.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. Exactly.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, this time of year they wouldn't mind, but obviously they're not going to survive the winter. So what do we have here for plants? Floating plants.
Water hyacinth.
Water hyacinth. Last year this stuff was covering the whole pond. What's going on this year?
Well, this year I bought them late, and I'm keeping them a little contained so they stay out of the skimmer box.
Okay.
I let them loose, and they're all stuck in the skimmer. So right now I put a crate in there, keeping them together, let them expand, and I'm pulling the big ones out little by little. So I'll just let them expand slowly. Okay. This year, and yeah, so that gives some thing. I got a new filtration system down there.
Can we go take a look at that real quick?
Let's go.
All right, let's go. So for anyone who hasn't seen one of these pond videos before, Gary and I dug this pond out, and let me step back so you can see the whole thing. This thing is absolutely massive. I mean, you talk about a centerpiece at the back of the yard, and this thing takes up half of the back of the yard. It's crazy. And of course, with such a large pond, you need a pretty substantial filter system, right? So you've got your skimmer box here.
Yep.
Looks very natural with the fake rock on top.
Yep.
I don't know about the alligator, but he's protecting the skimmer.
He seems to be happy over there, so
okay.
leave him alone.
All right. All right, Gibson. Let's go take a look. What do we got? All right, so the pond guys that installed your filtration system originally had dug it was basically like a power filter, canister filter, UV unit all in one, and they dug it into the ground. And what you found out this past year was that they put a bypass on it, right?
Yeah, so what they did is when you undersize a filtration unit, say I buy a filtration unit that's for 4,000 gallons and I have a 6,000 gallon pond, it can't take that pressure.
Yeah.
So some people, what they'll do is they'll put a bypass on it. So what they think is 50-50, 50% goes to the filter, 50% goes to the waterfall.
Right.
Is actually when the water filtration unit gets, it has fish waste, fish food in there.
Plugs up.
It ends up being more like 80-20.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and the worse it plugs up, the more water goes through the bypass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I noticed that, and it was a problem. I had problems with the water being clear. So I did some research on YouTube, of course, and it all paid off, and I realized that what I need to do is get a bigger system, and the best thing you can do is get an oversized system for your pond, because who knows, if you add fish,
Yep.
it's going to have more waste,
Sure.
you're going to have more food, equals you need more filtration.
Sure.
So this is what I did over here.
So this spring you dug up that old filter unit, you redirected those lines.
Exactly.
And this right
So
here
now,
is what you've put together. So
yes.
explain what this is and sort of how you've plumbed it together.
Exactly. So now, instead of doing 80-20, as I would call it, now we're doing 100%. 100% of the water is coming through. It's being filtered in here with some bio media.
Yep. It's like a fluidized media, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's made out of silicone. It's got each media piece has a lot of surface area on it. So think of it like a honeycomb.
Yep.
If you extended that, it has all these surface area.
Yep. I've got K1 in my filter barrels. It's very similar.
Right.
Yeah. So that's sort of tumbling around in there all day long.
Yes.
So all of the water is coming in.
Goes right to the bottom.
Okay.
From the head unit, goes right to the bottom, gets forced back up here, and then gets pushed to the waterfall.
Okay. That's and this is what is this, 2-inch pipe?
Yeah, it's on a 2-inch pipe system.
2-inch pipe, and you got your ball valves, you got your wastewater bypass,
and 57-watt UV filtration over there.
All right.
So that's going to take care of any algae, spores, parasites. It just keeps the water really healthy.
Keeps the water clean.
So again, back to the 100%. So 100% of the water also filters over the UV system.
All right. So then the water exits this system, and you've sort of enclosed it here, so we can
so you can look on the side.
Sort of get a little. It's like a little pump house, essentially.
Right on the side. So basically, the pump house doesn't have a roof on it yet. It's not complete.
Okay.
But what I'm doing here is that this unit's going to be able to pick up like the hood of a car.
Yep.
So I can do my back washing. I also put a door on the side there.
Okay.
If I ever have to step in. And
And double as a doghouse, man.
It could, and it also, if the dog pees in there, I also has a floor drain. So that's another important thing.
Yeah.
If you're ever going to do this, make sure you have a floor drain, because when you winterize it also, you want to drain the pump of all the water so you don't ruin it.
Sure.
And make sure that it just gets out of the, and if there's a leak in here of any type, it also exits the pump house.
Sure.
Instead of rotting the whole thing and all that work that you have
So this
put into it.
should last quite a number of years. The way that it's all set
I'm hoping it
up.
lasts longer than me, because this thing is made of like kryptonite and steel and all that good stuff.
Well, it looks like you've done a good job. So then that line runs
Actually,
up.
it comes up here, and there's a fork in the road here that divides the water.
Okay.
Because when you have one of these type of head units up there, it's about 24 inches wide.
I'm gonna go take a look real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes in from both ends, right?
Exactly.
So there's a little box underneath those rocks, and you've got a tube that comes in one end and a tube that comes in the other end, feeding the water.
Exactly.
So that it all comes out even.
It comes out nice and evenly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So so there's a split underground where you're standing that kind of feeds it all down, and the backwashing is very simple. I can demonstrate if you'd like.
Yeah, when's the last time you backwashed your pond, Gary?
What I'd like to do is basically backwash this about 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
And also at the beginning of the summer, you're going to be doing it more because you have a lot more debris falling out of the trees and everything like that. So as the season progresses and less pine needles fall down and pollen and such and so on, you're going to backwash it maybe twice. It depends how you are too. So
one other thing I will say is a lot of the mechanical filtration happening in this pond is actually happening in the skimmer box, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So the pump is actually sitting in the skimmer. So all the horsepower, if you will, is right in that skimmer box. There is actually no electricity coming in here other than the UV filter, which you have to plug in with.
And you got the power back there.
And it's so easy to backwash too.
All right, let's see.
Easily demonstrate. I have to do it anyways.
Let's see it.
So I'm using this as an excuse.
All right, this is a good excuse.
Right.
So what do you got?
You turn off the pump.
All right.
Always turn off the pump so you don't cause damage in the head unit.
Sure, power's off.
Especially if you're going to backwash it. You put it on backwash.
All right.
Come back over here.
Turn it back on.
Turn it back on.
Alright, so instead of going out your waterfall, you can hear the waterfall stopped.
It's coming
now
out
it's going out into the woods. You can see it right there.
So all the medium inside is going in the opposite direction. It's being swished around.
Yep. You can actually smell it a little bit too. So
exactly.
it's definitely getting rid of some stuff. And you can see all the plants loving it back here too. I think
look at this growth.
you're growing trees and ferns and everything else back here.
Happier.
Yeah, it's a little oasis.
It's funny you bring that up because the best thing, you could actually water your plants with this, and the actual fish waste and everything is good
fertilizer. That's the whole basis of aquaponics.
Exactly. So it all goes in a big life circle.
All right. So how long do you leave the backwash on?
You can backwash for about a minute. It depends how bad it is, but right now it's not that bad. So what I'll do is I'll run the backwash for about a minute. You have a little window here, so you can actually see how bad your water really is.
Sure. Yeah.
So luckily they provide that. That looks pretty good. So I give it another 30 seconds, and then I'll basically do the same thing. I'll go back over there, turn off the unit, reverse it, plug it back in. Waterfall starts happening, and you know, all is good here in Pub Pocket.
All is good in the hood. All right, man. Well, thanks for the tour again. As always, there is so much growth here with the fish and the plants and everything else. It is a little oasis in the back of your yard, and this is where you spend all your time, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
You're not
with good reason.
This is a hobby, so it's work in the beginning. You're digging, you're laying out rocks, you're planting plants. Once you get the basis of the whole pond, now that's when it becomes an actual hobby. And as you can see, we get some wildflowers growing back there. And that's really what you want it to be ultimately, is a hobby, so you can enjoy it.
Sure.
So.
And you got the fire pit and the chairs and everything else, so
that's it.
There you go.
So much more to come.
So much more to come. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that pond update, and I'll see you guys later.